Hey guys, it's day one. Shifek just woke up when I said, hey guys. It's day one. It's a little after 10 p.m. in the evening, and we are going to give you our thoughts on what we've seen on this first day of E3 2019. I guess before the show actually opened, should we start with the Nintendo Direct real quick? Because I don't think we don't have too much to say about that. But I think, Thor, I'd say you probably watched it the closest out of the three of us. What'd you think of it?
It was alright. I would like that Dragon Quest as the Dragon Quest fighter in Smash. That was cool. And a lot of people were surprised about Banjo-Kazooie, which is interesting since Microsoft owns that. They're letting that in there, and
Microsoft and Nintendo, like buddy lately.
Yeah.
Like teaming up against the big bad Sony, I feel.
with Cuphead and Xbox Live being on Switch and all that. But yeah, so that was interesting.
Luigi's
Mansion 3.
Mansion, I didn't even know what it's called. I caught like the middle of that video. Guigi.
I like those games, so I'll probably pick it up when it's on sale. So
Those games go on sale? Like, it takes a while, right? You have to work it a little bit, I think.
yeah, it'll be a while. It'll probably be a good 6 months, but I can wait 6 months.
I know you had some thoughts about the Nintendo conference, Chip, that were very not positive.
Well, I think they had a positive showing. It's just it's becoming more and more apparent that they just can't pull off like the third-party games or the serious games. Like the games that have a nice stylized art style, like the
Or the
Link's
games that came out like 3 years ago, like Witcher and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, still it's the same issue there. But like stylized games like Link's Awakening, those look like what I want to play on Switch. The stuff where even like the Travis Touchdown
No
game.
More Heroes 3?
Yeah, it just doesn't hit right with me. Like there's a disconnect between the seriousness or the try to be like a mature type of game, and then the voice acting and the animation is just, and the picture quality, it just doesn't, it's not hitting for me at all. So I think it will continue to be a indie game machine and a Nintendo machine for me.
Well, at least it's got the indie game aspect. That's good.
No, it does. I mean, they had a very strong showing. It's just a lot of that stuff, it just does not excite me when I look at it. It just looks like it's from 2 generations ago.
All right. Let's talk about the stuff that we saw actually on the show floor at E3. Thor, what'd you see?
I saw Zombie Army 4. That was really impressive. It's basically like if they took Call of Duty Zombies Horde mode, you know that?
Yep.
And they made a story mode out of it. It's kind of what it is. And then also it's the people who make the Sniper Elite games and stuff. So when you have a sniper rifle and you shoot a zombie, you see the bones crack and all that.
You see the bullet fly?
Yeah, you see the bullet fly through there.
I like that.
A lot of neat upgrades and stuff like electricity and a lot of different zombie types like suicide zombies that just have grenades on them and have sparklers and explode and all sorts of cool stuff. It was pretty fun to play.
What was our first appointment today?
First thing we saw was Ghost Recon Breakpoint? Point Break? Breakpoint.
Right.
Could be either. It's Ghost Recon Wildlands 2 is what this game is.
Sure.
So we got to play it. It was a pretty lengthy demo. But
we waited longer on the line than the length of the demo. It was, and the demo was mostly cutscenes.
Yeah. Well, you don't really need the cutscenes so much. Like, that's not the strong point
Of Ghost Recon? Is that not why people are playing it?
But I was happy to see that if you liked Ghost Recon Wildlands and were worried that they were like straying from the formula, like when they first announced it, they were like talking like this was much different. It's Ghost Recon Wildlands. I mean, there was not that many like gameplay features that were new. Like you could slide down a hill, you could use the little thing to cut through, like the laser to cut through the fence. But it was going into compounds and tagging enemies and using your drone and
Shooting them.
which I'm very happy with.
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, and it had the same like RPG like you're finding the gear and everything and upping your skill points. So it did. It looked good. I'm sure we'll spend a lot of time with this game.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we briefly checked out Arcade 1-Up's new offerings. They had the new, what are they, the 12-inch ones that you can hang on the wall now?
Yeah, the wall mounts.
The wall-mounted ones.
Are wall mounted?
Yeah.
I know they have countertop ones. Are those
Yeah,
the same?
It's the same ones. You can either wall mount them or put them on.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The wall mounting I thought was more interesting because you're going to run out of counter space. At least I am, like quicker than I am just being able to put it on a wall.
Right.
And I thought they looked nice hanging on a wall.
They did.
And we saw the new Turtles ones and the new Marvel ones.
I kind of wonder what the lifespan of that will be because you can't buy too many of them or else your entire house is going to be filled with them. You know what I mean?
Right. How many can you mount on your wall before your house is just an arcade?
It's not like an amiibo where it's just this tiny little thing.
Right.
It's a giant.
Well, we have a solution for that problem. That was another appointment that we saw, where they're making like the Replicade.
Replicade.
Might as well talk about it now. Like Replicade is,
I know what Replicade
right? Because you posted a deal. We actually had a whole conversation with the guy. But for the listeners, like it's a.
Well, I've given away like 3.
Yep, they were happy. Yeah, he knew he was happy. So for the listeners, they're like, are they 12 inches? Like
Yeah, they're 12 inches.
like really nicely detailed arcade cabinets, like metal coin doors, and you can playable, obviously. But they're like for somebody like me who grew up in arcades, not literally, but it's pretty amazing that you can just buy these things and put them in your home. So you could put a lot of those in your house before it becomes an arcade. And they even had the you saw the what was that, the USB hub or something?
They have a coin change machine.
Looks like a
It's
coin change
USB
machine,
hub.
like a
That
real
way you
old.
can power multiple of these things at once.
Yeah, it was really neat.
And they had the Street Fighter one that was coming out that comes with a separate USB controller so you can play 2-player.
They're teeny tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, neat. I like it.
Yeah, both companies are making really good products. Like they're fun products.
Yeah.
For a reasonable price. Then we checked out Borderlands 3. That is, again, a game that you very much know what it is. It's Borderlands.
With a 3.
It's good. I wanted a 3. That's exactly what I wanted.
It doesn't look a lot different than the last one. Like, I mean, the graphical fidelity wise, you know.
Well, that's that art style. That's what
You get away with, like, it's hard to tell, like, does this really look good or.
I thought it looked a little bit sharper.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, it's...
Also, they've been upgrading. You know, was the last game you played Handsome Collection on your PS4, or was the last game you played? Okay.
The old one.
Okay. Because they have so many different ultra textures and this and that for the
Sure.
old ones that maybe it doesn't seem that different when.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
I had a lot of fun. I played all the way through the demo and then played about halfway through it again because it was a timed demo, and I got to check out 2 of the different characters, the gunner and the that has like the mech that you can get into as their ultimate power, and then the I think I played the other one as a siren, which was they did siren-y things. That game, it's just really fun to shoot people in that game, and I don't know. That's going to be something. When Wombat compares that to Rage,
It makes you angry.
they're just worlds different in games. It's so different.
Right.
What else did you check out, Thor?
Kill la Kill. It's an anime that's pretty old, but they made a fighting game, and there was no line, so I was like, all right, I'll check it out. If you like that anime series, there's a lot of fan service. Let's just say that if you're playing the fighting game. And there's a interesting hook to it where in the middle of fighting, you play rock, paper, scissors against the other opponent. And there are counterattacks and things like that. It's a 3D fighting game. But yeah, I saw that. And then I went over to Sega, and Sega had Sonic and Mario at the Olympics, Tokyo 2020.
Huge booth.
Yeah.
Huge booth for that.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
You didn't even
Oh,
notice?
no, we saw
What
the,
do you
uh,
mean?
You
Yeah.
didn't notice people climbing a rock wall?
No, I didn't see that,
There was
actually.
a rock wall right in the middle of it.
No, I
Like a
didn't
red
see that.
column that they were climbing, and then...
I saw the big Pokemon thing, and
Well,
that
no,
was...
and then the screens you saw where it was like Peach versus Amy. They were
Yeah,
doing
okay, I
the
didn't realize. I
taekwondo
didn't even look
and-
around.
Yeah,
I only saw the screen.
they had like a whole like running track around it and everything.
Yeah, it was a big fucking booth. I was like, damn. But I played the surfing game, and I was like, yep, this is Sonic and Olympics. I would like to go play Judgment now. And, and I played Judgment, and I was surprised by Judgment. I think I'll actually buy that when it goes on sale, because one of the problems I kind of had with the previous games was it was all subtitled.
This is by the Yakuza.
Yeah, that's the
I
it's-
heard about it.
Yeah.
It's the you're a detective, so you're on the opposite side. You're not part of the. You're a.
Oh, you're
So
a cop?
it's the yin and yang. You're the yang side this time. So
You're trying to bust Yakuza?
yeah,
Yeah.
That's cool.
but the thing that I was like, yeah, this is a lot better. Is it was dubbed, and I don't know, whenever I try to play Yakuza Kiwami, or try to play the Dead Souls game or whatever, it just got tiring reading the subtitles. Like when I watch anime, it's fine, but when I was playing the game, and there's so much dialogue in that game,
Sure.
so I think I'll actually pick that up later on, and then you guys can go because Nick.
Okay. What else?
We checked out Wave Break, which is the Tony Hawk style jet ski with animals.
Jet ski or boat?
It's like a jet ski. It's little boat, if you prefer. I don't know. It felt like I was on a jet ski. Could be a ski-doo.
And you were good at it because you're good at Tony Hawk.
Yeah, they really nailed the Tony Hawk controls on this, like so much more than the last Tony Hawk game did.
Yeah.
So I was very pleased with what they have so far with that. I know it's coming out sometime this fall, right?
It's fall next year, I thought.
They're in alpha stage right
Yeah.
Yeah, it has multiplayer, but I really like the fact that it has just a single player as well, like a campaign mode.
Yeah.
So they are very much learning and have done their research on what made Tony Hawk games.
They said they played every one.
Yeah.
And it's got a nice...
Even ride?
I'm sure every one. Because they did say that they couldn't believe how bad some of them were.
Oh.
But it's got a cool like synthwave soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack's good. Yeah.
To go with the style. That's sort of synthwave's graphical style. So yeah, pretty cool. Wait, what's it called again?
Wave Break.
Wave Break. So you got the Ghost Recon Wave Break.
Great.
It's
Great
very
point.
80s neo looking.
Yeah.
You know, like that
People like
aesthetic.
Yeah, people like that, and I am one of them. I'm one of those people.
Then we had an appointment with the publisher called Big Ben. If people aren't familiar with them, they're a European publisher. Their big game has been WRC, World Rally Championship. They're up
Right.
to number 8 of those. I know you played some of that, JP.
I did. They added a lot of rally stuff, like business management to that in a way. Like, you're in an office and all of a sudden, skill trees and dynamic weather and upgraded physics. They've got like historical rally cars in there now, like old Lancias and things like that. I wound up picking the hardest track that you could do, in snow, and it was hard, and it's cool.
Yeah, it looked nice. The interesting thing, we were talking to, I guess it was one of the PR reps for them, and kind of what their vision of Big Ben was they wanted to become the kind of premier AA publisher is what they were going for.
Right.
Which I think is a really smart business move hey, we're not trying to compete with these huge companies.
They don't have 300 people working on a
Right.
game.
Like, we're gonna make smaller games, but still
Quality.
Quality.
Like that, like a Plague's Tale. They don't publish that, but
Right.
like a game like
Home Focus Interactive.
yeah, I feel
the
like
same type of
that.
thing,
Like that's
yeah.
their competitor probably.
Yeah, it probably is.
straight up.
And then we saw a second game, Paranoia Happiness is Mandatory, which is based upon the RPG board game Paranoia. I'm familiar that that's a thing. I have never played it. This one is very dystopian humor. Like it's...
Yeah.
I don't... How would you describe it?
Yeah, no, that's good. The game itself is very colorful.
Yeah.
But apparently the humor is very dark in it, and that's an intentional...
Very Big Brother type of a theme to it.
Right, and that's how the game is. The pen and paper game is apparently, and this is the first ever attempt to make a video game out of it. It's like a turn-based party RPG, I guess, like Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
With like laser guns.
It
looked pretty cool actually.
It looked really good.
I like those types of.
And they're gonna. It's obviously it's like a PC first game, but it's coming to PS4 and Xbox as well. So, look cool. Anything else for you, Thor?
I went and saw all the Xseed games.
Okay.
And
how was Burger Time Party?
That's
That's the one that caught our eye.
Yeah, I knew you would want to play that. Burger Time Party is pretty fun. It's basically 4-player local co-op. They only had 2 controllers available, so it was just me and another random guy that was in line. I was just like, "You want to play co-op?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, all right." And you play Burger Time with 2 people, and then there's a battle mode.
Wait, let's go back to this. How does that work? When you're playing Burger Time as 2 people,
You have to
are
work
both
together?
of you Peter Pepper,
Yeah,
and you're working together, or
yeah,
just each other?
together.
Okay.
You're working together, and if one guy gets hit, it's like a multiplayer game where it's like, you got 10 minutes, 10 seconds to save me.
Reviving Peter Pepper.
Yeah, you revive the other one, and you press the
You put salt
R1.
on him.
Yeah. and then there's a battle mode, and the battle mode is you can be the angry sausage or the donut or whatever against Peter Peppers, and so that's interesting. So like you get special powers in this battle mode where you build up stamina for dashes and stuff like that. It gets very Pac-Man versus like, because like when you're playing Pac-Man versus, you just hang around the one pellet until the person's just like, well, I'm screwed. So you just sort of hang around the one burger patty, and you're just, okay, I got you. You're screwed. But it was pretty fun though, the co-op mode and stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
Ship's wide awake now, by the way.
I am. I did not expect like walking through there to see a Burger Time party game like when we were walking through the hall.
Sure, that's reasonable to be surprised.
Yeah.
As long as it ends up being like a $20 digital title or something like that, they'll do fine. I played Happy Land. Happy Land is, do either of you play Dragon Quest 11?
No.
Nope.
11? Maybe?
Okay. So basically it's a auto-run RPG where you're supposed to, you go through these dungeons, and you're like the tour guide for these tourists that are going into the dungeons to fight monsters. And they auto battle people, and you while they're battling, you can be like, okay, this guy needs a potion. You throw him a potion. Okay, I'm gonna say that you should stop healing people and you should start fighting or whatever. It had a lot of dialogue, like 10 minutes of dialogue before the game actually started, so that was interesting. There's no skip button.
Sometimes games just they didn't make good demos for them at E3.
Yeah,
It's like
hard to make a good
this
demo.
is the actual game that you would get.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then I played Sakura. This is the 3rd year I played Sakura at E3 at the Xseed booth. It was coming out this winter finally.
Getting better every year, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I was playing this year. I got to play it on the Switch, but the problem I had when I was playing it was the dialogue boxes were very small in handheld mode. So that kind of sucked. I had to really like.
But next year they'll have it. You play it again and be like, yes.
And then Rune Factory 4, it was Rune Factory 4, but, all HDified and on the Switch. Akiba Strip, Hellbound, and Debriefed. There are 2 Akiba Strip games out, but this is the first game that was made on PSP that was only in Japan, that came out before the first Akiba Strip that came out here. And so what they're doing is they're remaking it for PS4, and it was a very early build, so it didn't look the greatest. But if you like Akiba strip games,
And do I?
oh yeah. And then Granblue Fantasy Versus, it's the same. It's Axis Works,
Okay.
and it looks.
So it's BlazBlue people?
Yeah.
So is it a BlazBlue game?
No, it's Granblue Fantasy.
But it's got blue in it.
I know, that's why I was
doing?
like, did they do something here? Okay. What is
And
this?
it's a fighting game, and it's kind of like it looks very much like the Dragon Ball game they worked on, and it was fun. It's like Street Fighter, and then there's a power button that you can only hit until it recharges. So like you hit R1 and square to throw a bomb, or you hit R1 and triangle to do a special move. There's like each person has 3 special moves.
So it's a fighting game. It's just a straight up fighting game. Okay.
Straight up fighting game. That's all I saw at Exceed, which was a lot.
That is a lot of games for Exceed. That's amazing that they have that much going on for the season.
And I had one that I didn't see because it comes out in 3 weeks, and she's like, "I'll just send you a code."
Okay.
I was like,
We went to Annapurna and saw Sayonara Wild Hearts. That is a cool game. GPU, that's something that's up your alley, right?
It's, I don't know, how'd you describe that? It's like it's not quite a rhythm game, but the music, everything's sort of synced up to the music. The action is synced up to the music.
It reminds me of, what was that game that you played as like the Beetle?
But it's not even that.
It's not that, but
it's more like just like, like an old school like Sonic level where you're on the rails and you're just trying to pick
it's
up.
It's like the Sonic bonus levels, where you're going through the tunnels for Sonic 2 bonus levels.
Okay.
Well, you're just going from like tunnel to tunnel and picking up rings. In this case, hearts and things. But
it's more stylized than that. Like
way more stylized.
You're like changing what vehicles you're on. Like you start off like on a skateboard, and then you're on motorcycles, and you're
jumping off and fighting.
You're jumping off and fighting people.
But it's all simple. The gameplay is very simple. It's like anybody could,
one button press from what was in the demo at least. Good soundtrack though.
Yes, they said they described it as a like playable pop album.
An album, yes, is how they phrased it. It looked cool.
Should be a hit on the Switch, I would think. It seems like it's that type of game.
I think that's everything that we saw. Thor.
All right. Well, I saw.
Wrap us up here.
I went to Friend Times, which is a Chinese publisher, so that was interesting. They basically had 2 games on their iPhone: Yokai Kitchen, which was a game where you cook food for monsters or something like that. Ghosts,
Yokai means ghosts.
Yeah. And then Empress, which was an MMO stylized in ancient Japan they took liberties with like clothing and stuff.
You put more on? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
More clothing?
They put more clothing?
Everybody was fully clothed. And
then I went and saw Astro Gaming, and they showed me their new $180 headset. And the cool part about their new headset is Xbox has a policy of in order to gain access to their chipset or whatever that connects to the Xbox One, you can't make it compatible with PlayStation 4 or something like that. So the workaround they did was they put the chip in the charging base. So all you have to do now is just buy the $180 headset, and then you buy the 2 charging bases.
And as long as the charging base is plugged in somewhere?
It syncs. So it charges, and then also all you have to do is plop it down, and it automatically syncs to your Xbox One. And then if you want it on your PS4, you automatically plop it down on the PS4 charger. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And
is it that big of a deal to have it synced to your Xbox, though? Like, is that such a real... I don't know.
And then
it must be.
I guess so.
They made this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then it had detachable ear foamy pad parts. So if it gets too sweaty or old and wrinkly or whatever, you can just order new ones. Mm-hmm. And it had...
I saw that at Lucid.
Yeah,
they had something like that.
Yeah. And It has a thing where you can just put your iPhone in there, so if you just want to listen to music or if you want to talk to someone while you're playing a game or something, you can just plug it in that way. And a lot of other neat bells and whistles. And then the guy was the head of influencer relationship, so Cheap Ass Gamer will be getting a lot of shit in the future. I already have a $200 controller in my room, so that will be a giveaway.
Wow. Fancy.
And then I went to Tripwire and I saw Maneater, and it's a action RPG where you are a shark, and it has it's narrated by Chris Parnell from Saturday Night Live and Rick and Morty and all that, and you start off as a shark and you get bigger and bigger. You're a baby shark at first, and then you have to upgrade your skill sets and stuff. And there are certain paths you can take. So if you want to become a mutated shark with a stone head so you can ram boats easier, or you can become an electric shark, or you can change the skin of your shark. And it's really cool. Like, you can flip out of the water and just, like, eat people, or you can do tricks while you're eating people. And it looked pretty fun. You can go up on the beach, and when people are partying, just, like, eat the crap out of them, but then you get back in the water real quick. It's kind of like Deep Blue Sea, the video game, where it's just kind of pretty ridiculous, and they know it's ridiculous.
Oh, cool.
And then I saw Aspire 1, which is a VR game. Their main motivation was like Metal Gear Solid, games like that, where you can sneak up or you can just blast them away. It was a little complicated at first, but then I got the hang of it. You're a robot with magnetic hands, so you can climb up walls and things like that. But yeah, it was all right. I'm not the biggest VR fan in the world, but it was all right for what it was.
All right.
And that's all I saw.
Cool. Thank you. Any general impressions of the show on the first day, real quick, before we get to go to sleep?
The Nintendo Hall needs help.
In what way? There's not enough stuff in there besides Nintendo.
Yep.
Okay.
Basically my whole day, all the appointments were in that hall, and I was like, man, not a lot of people are at E3. And then, like, I had, like, a spare, like, 30 minutes, so I went and checked out the other hall, and that's where everyone was.
In the non-Nintendo hall.
Yeah. Because that used to be the Xbox, Sony, Nintendo hall.
Right.
And people would go over there because it's Xbox, Sony, Nintendo hall, and now it's just Nintendo. So it's kind of hurting.
You know what else that no one was at? The Destroy All Humans / Monster Jam super area out front of the convention center, and the Slurpee area.
Right.
Nobody was getting free Slurpees. As Chip pointed out, you know E3 is not well attended when the free Slurpee area there's no line at all. They just walk right up and get a free Slurpee.
It just felt like that whole area was kind of like, you go to that other hall, the one with 2K and Ubisoft, and it seemed pretty packed there during the afternoon, but not really.
Yeah, it was a good number of people in that one.
Yeah.
It wasn't overly crowded still, as it has been just even last year. There was more people in there. Like, I never got to the point today where I couldn't take a comfortable step when I was walking.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
There were people going.
Yeah,
with
the
their
cameras,
phone,
yeah,
their phone
walking so slowly and just trying to take
just standing there.
Standing there, yeah.
Yeah.
We had people that they were taking like cosplay pictures like in the main aisle by the entrance, like right when you walk in, and like
Square had some. I'm guessing those are Square people. I'm not sure.
They
There was a Cloud and a Tifa there, but they were like right inside the main door. Yeah, it's a down year at E3 as far as what there is to see and just the excitement level, I would say, as a whole.
But, it is a transition year, and so maybe next year will be an up year.
Well, I'm sure next year their Project Scarlet will be in full swing,
Of course.
everywhere, and whatever I think Sony will probably show up next year.
Yeah, you think so? You would.
I bet Google will be here next year, too.
You would think so as well. Yeah, big money.
Yeah, I also had an interesting conversation. I came out of our hotel, and a lady came up to me and goes, do you know where the E3 shuttles are? And I was like, it's just like a 10-minute walk. You just wanted me to show you where, because I'm going there right now. She worked for Facebook, and she kept like asking me about my opinion about Facebook.
She wanted your personal information? Is that what you said?
No.
No. That's a privacy joke there.
Oh, okay.
Facebook humor.
But
So
yeah.
what she want? I'm sorry, what did she want?
She was trying to figure out how to get influencers in video games like more active on Facebook, and I was like hitting all the like normal things where she's like, "Yeah, I know we have that problem," and I was like, "Well, then fix it."
And then what'd she say? Get away from me?
No. She hadn't picked up her badge, and I was like, "All right, there's the giant crowd. Have fun. I'm going inside."
Right. Enjoy the sweltering sun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was day 1. 2 more to go. Ship. Come on.
We're gonna do it. I'm
We got
excited.
all right.
I'm
Good.
still having a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Good. No, I had fun.
Yeah, there's just even the music was muted this year. I feel like they were told to like turn down the music or something inside of the halls. It
That's
was
fine.
not
That's
very
good for
loud.
me. I like it nice and not loud.
Oh yeah, it's just the excitement. Like there's not a buzz this year. Everything's kind of known on all the games and everything.
All right. You
What
know,
was last year? Like they showed Cyberpunk, and then they had the appointment. What else was the big buzz thing last year?
What was Nintendo's big thing last year?
It was.
I don't even remember last.
It was
Smash
it
stuff.
Was Smash Bros.
yeah, some of the characters, Ridley or something.
Yeah.
Wasn't it that? It was so big they played that on Howard Stern. The people reacting to the Ridley announcement at E3, which they never do talk about video games on Howard, but it was the reactions were so ridiculous. Anyway, it's bedtime for some of us, probably. Some of us older gentlemen. All right, we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Peace.